Chapter 6. Cybernetics, your target-seeking story. The king wanted archery lessons. Everybody was afraid to give them because they all knew that the king was somewhat of a perfectionist, and he would blame the teacher if he couldn't hit the bullseye after a few lessons. One day, as the king was riding through the countryside of his kingdom, he was passing a farmhouse, and he could hear the sound of arrows being fired. He rode his horse down the side of the farmhouse and followed the sound to the back of an old farm shed, where he saw a young boy firing arrows at the wooden gable end of the shed. When the king looked to see what the boy was firing at, he noticed that all the arrows were in the center of the bullseye on a large number of targets that were painted onto the wooden gable. The king was impressed. He approached the young boy and asked him if he had taken all the shots that had resulted in hitting the bullseye. The boy said that he had. The king asked the boy would he be able to teach him how to hit a bullseye with his arrow, just like he had done. The young boy thought for a minute, and then said that he would be willing to teach the king to hit the bullseye, just as he had done. He asked what his reward would be. The king was excited to finally meet someone who was willing to teach him, and promised to reward him with a gold coin if he was successful. "How long will it take you to teach me?" asked the king. "Oh, not long," came the reply. The king, somewhat surprised at the boy's answer, got down from his horse and removed his cloak. "Okay, I'm ready to learn," he said. The boy handed his bow and arrows to the king. "Okay, what you have to do is fire your arrows at the gable wall," said the boy. "Just anywhere," came the king's response. "Yes, anywhere," said the boy. The king was puzzled, but proceeded to fire his 3 arrows so that they stuck into the wood paneling on the gable wall of the shed. "Very good," said the boy. "Now follow me." He walked to the gable wall, with the puzzled king in pursuit. When the boy got to where the king's arrows were stuck into the wood, he bent down and pulled a paintbrush from a tin of paint that he had placed there earlier, and proceeded to paint a target around the king's arrow, making sure that the arrow was in the center of the circle he painted. "Now," said the boy with his hand out, "you have hit the center of 3 targets with your arrows, just like I did, and I believe I have earned my gold coin. Be careful how you judge yourself against other people who claim they always hit their target, and with little effort. We all have an image of ourselves, our self-image, our picture of me, that we keep in the back of our head. It is that image that has a major influence in what we say, do, have, act, feel, etc. Why is this image so critical in determining the course of our lives? Let me explain. Do you know what cybernetics is? It is a target-seeking mechanism. Psycho-cybernetics was coined by Maxwell Maltz in his book Psycho-Cybernetics, which he wrote in 1960. The word cybernetics was established by Norbert Wiener in 1948 from the Greek kubernetes, which means a pilot or rudder. The word was first used by Plato in the sense of the art of steering or the art of government. Cybernetics has in fact the same root as government, the art of managing and directing highly complex systems. Basically, it is a system where it evaluates progress to a desired goal or outcome along predefined lines, makes corrections and instigates adjustments to keep everything moving on its correct course. When a flight plan is fed into the plane navigation system before takeoff, the cybernetics system keeps a progress check continually on that plan. If the plane gets blown off course on its journey, the software will make the necessary adjustments and actions to pull it right back on course again. This is called autopilot. An autopilot is a system used to control the trajectory of an aircraft without constant, hands-on control by a human operator being required. We all have a beautiful cybernetic system built into our subconscious mind. It doesn't judge whether the course plan we give it is good or bad. It just takes that plan and keeps all our thoughts and actions in line with reaching the objective. Our self-image is an important part of this system, inasmuch as it is the target. If we try to do something that is different to our image of ourselves, like create a new you, our cybernetic settings will pull us back to the original image every time. So, if you don't change the image you have of yourself, but only change the action, you depend on your willpower to keep you on the new plan. And we all know that willpower seldom leads to lasting change. However, if you can change the image you have of yourself to the new you, Your actions will follow, and you will have success. Sounds simple, but it won't happen without consciously setting up your goal or image with specific details, creating a strong emotional attachment to it, and an immovable belief that it will happen. The image you have of yourself in your head, even if it's an image you really dislike and try to change by your willpower, will always win out, as your cybernetic system will continually look to find ways to get you back to that image. So, starting with what you want that image to be is critical. In fact, if you don't start at that point, then whatever else you learn will be of little value to you. Create in your imagination the picture of who you want to be. Your character, your beliefs, your values, your attitudes, your outlook on life, your expectations, and the things for which you are thankful. Make detailed notes on each section. Get a clear picture in your mind. Get your imagination involved and then your senses. See it, feel it, smell it, taste it, and start to act like it. As you start to see yourself as you want to be, your deep-seated self-image, your current picture of yourself, will rebel against it. You will have feelings of being a fake to yourself. This is natural, but the more you picture yourself as the person you want to become, the easier it will get. Every morning and every evening, and as many times during the day that you can, bring that picture into your conscious mind and start to love it and expect it. Act as that person would act, and speak as that person would speak. Soon you will be well on the road to becoming that person. You will find a far stronger and longer-lasting result with this method than any other, because when your subconscious mind takes what you are seeing and saying on board as true, your cybernetics will keep you locked onto your goal, and you will not need to depend on your willpower to maintain your desired result. We have all heard of people being hypnotized on stage shows. The skilled hypnotist bypasses the conscious brain of his victim and speaks directly to the subconscious part, telling it that it is now a chicken or a dog or something else, and that person immediately starts to act in the manner of the animal. The hypnotist can tell a very strong man that he cannot lift a pencil off the table, and he can't, no matter how hard he tries. How can that be? As the subconscious brain believes, the body follows. We will look in more detail at the role your conscious and subconscious brain plays a little later in the book. Your self-image resides in the subconscious part of your brain, and your cybernetic system works to keep that image in order. You are hypnotizing yourself every day with your self-talk. Are you feeding it with limiting beliefs and opinions of poor me, or are you feeding it with positive, powerful, uplifting thoughts of possibilities? Our human success-seeking ability, which we call cybernetics, has two operations. One, where the goal or target or answer is known, and the objective is to reach it. Two, where the goal or target or answer is not known, and the objective is to locate it. Requirements of number one, where the goal or target or answer is known. 1. There must be a force of propulsion, a reason why, to head in the direction of the target. 2. There must be some information or details or an image of the target available to latch onto. 3. There must be a method of feedback as to the progress towards the target. This feedback can be negative or positive. In the case of positive feedback, no action is taken because you are on course. In the case of negative feedback, some course correction or adjustment is made. 4. Don't shun negative feedback. That's where the fine-tuning comes from. Without it, you will miss the target. Requirements of number 2, where the goal or target or answer is not known. In this situation, there are a number of ways to locate your target. 1. Make a list of your key interests, the things you love to do. Don't take financial reward or remuneration into account yet. 2. Make a list of the things you consider yourself to be good at, your natural and learned talents. 3. Write down what you would consider to be your perfect day. 4. If I walked into your home, other than family photos, what things would I see that would give me a clue as to what you love? For example, books, awards, images of your dreams. Now, read those lists before you go to bed each night and when you get up in the morning. Don't try to figure out any answers yet. You will find that ideas will pop into your head over the course of a few days. Fresh inspiration, an inkling to read something or investigate something. A memory of something someone said to you, or perhaps a dream. Whatever way it comes to you, if you are tuned in, it will find you, because it has been looking for you, and you know deep down that it has. Our cybernetics over time learns to get better with its seeking ability, and results come faster. Think of the arm actions of a baby who is just learning to pick up a rattle. Their arms swing from side to side, making continual adjustments, often hitting the rattle on its way past, then adjusting again until it reaches its target. A child of a little older age has already trained its arm movements and can reach out to pick up an object using eye and arm coordination very easily. Soon they can throw a ball in the air and catch it as it is moving. This is the power of our built-in cybernetics. Most people don't know that this same cybernetic system can be trained and will seek out our other targets or goals or answers in life. The more information and training our cybernetics get, the more powerful it becomes. Right now, pick up something close to you, hold it in your hand for a moment, then put it back in a slightly different place. Well done. So, here's what just happened. Your mind decided which object you were going to pick up and where you were going to put it down. They were the only conscious parts you played in that whole exercise. Your cybernetic system did the rest. It chose which muscles to contract and which ones to expand. It worked out the distance your arm would have to travel in order to reach the target object without being too short or overshooting it. It told your fingers to grasp it with exactly the right amount of pressure so you wouldn't drop it or crush it. In fact, if you watch carefully, you will see that your hand started to make the shape you needed to pick it up before it even got to it. It applied just enough tension to raise it up and bring it back to you. Then it reversed the whole operation to position it at the place you had decided. Now, that's pretty impressive, don't you think? See if you can consciously move your muscles to contract or stretch in order to reach its target. Command your finger muscles to grasp it. It's a bit cumbersome, isn't it? Do you think your cybernetic system is better left alone to figure it out? Think of a cricket player out in the field. His mission is to catch the ball when the opposing batsman hits it. His cybernetic system needs to work out the trajectory, velocity, expected distance it will travel, height, rate of descent, wind resistance, plus the direction and speed he will need to travel to get to it before it hits the ground, and all of that within a split second of hearing the crack of the ball against the bat. Now, that is nothing short of amazing. Have you realized yet that you have one of these systems in your own body? Can you comprehend yet that your cybernetic system is more powerful in achieving your goals and hitting your targets than any other mechanism on planet Earth, and you own it? Have you been underusing it, do you think? Have you unconsciously set it up so that it is hitting all the wrong targets with the same unerring degree of accuracy? Yes, get excited. This one piece of information, if you truly grasp it, will completely change your life. So, how can we learn to set it up? Where's the user manual? Is it more difficult than tuning in a new TV or mobile phone? Will I be able to understand the instructions? I'm generally not very good with following instructions. This sounds like a lot of effort. I don't think it's for me. I'll just settle for what I have at the moment. I know other people could do it. I could even name a few. But I don't think I'm clever enough to change my life. Okay, finished talking rubbish to yourself now? See how easy it is to let our self-image rule the roost? Stop it! Maxwell Maltz, the writer of Psycho-Cybernetics, says, if you can imagine anything, remember anything, worry about anything, or tie your shoes, you can succeed. Congratulations, I believe you qualify. The method is imagining, learning new habits of thinking, practicing, remembering, and experiencing in order to 1. Develop an adequate and realistic self-image. 2. Use your creative mechanism, which is your imagination, to bring success and happiness in achieving specific goals. Do you know who you are? You will fight change because you want to maintain what you know about who you are. Get very real about where you are right now in relation to where you want to be. Yes, in relation to where you want to be. This is a critical point. Your internal cybernetic guiding system uses past information which it has gathered over the years from your thinking and actions. And that might not be good news for some of us. It wasn't for me. I realized that my thinking and actions up to that point had gotten me into a place that I didn't want to be. I used to beat myself up because I hadn't achieved many of my major goals in life. However, as I really got down to investigating why, I was forced to admit to myself that I really hadn't set any goals and focused on them. I had some ideas all right, but I had never taken the thinking time to clarify them in detail and add that vital source of energy, my emotions. My guidance system was confused. It didn't have a clear, detailed objective. Can you imagine firing a missile without giving it a detailed, specific target? Can you imagine the destruction it might cause, the collateral damage, so to speak? Well, I had collateral damage in my life to prove it. If you don't have a specific target, then don't fire the missile. Don't approach this with excitement thinking you can win back your life, and then not set a specific target to aim at. Set a specific, detailed target for your life right now before you go any further. Do not let your current circumstances get in your way. Acknowledge the barriers between you and your desire, then put them to one side for the moment and continue to detail your goal. Our mission here right now is not to figure out how it will all happen. Our goal is to set the target only. The discovery of your mental picture or blueprint of yourself, which is your self-image, will be the most important discovery of your life. Your current image of your blueprint might be vague, or maybe you have never consciously been aware of it up to now, but it is there, complete, right down to the last detail. This self-image is your own perception of the kind of person you are. It has been constructed by your own beliefs about yourself. However, most of these beliefs have been unconsciously formed from your past experiences, your successes and failures, your humiliations, your triumphs, and the way other people have reacted to you, especially in early childhood. From all these, we mentally construct a self-image or a picture of ourselves. Once an idea or picture of ourselves goes into this image, it becomes true as far as we are concerned. We do not question its validity, but act upon it just as if it were true. Your actions, feelings, behaviors, even your abilities are always consistent with this image. You will act like the sort of person you picture yourself to be. It is your personality. Not only that, but you literally cannot act otherwise, despite all your conscious efforts or willpower. The person who sees himself as a failure will find some way to fail, despite all his good intentions and willpower, even if a golden opportunity drops into his lap. The person who sees himself as a victim will always find circumstances to verify his opinions. The self-image is a base or foundation upon which your entire personality, your behaviors, and even your circumstances are built. Because of this, our experiences seem to verify and thereby strengthen our self-image, and a cycle for good or ill is set in motion. For example, a schoolboy who sees himself as an F-type student or one who is dumb at maths will invariably find that his report card confirms that. He then has proof, and the cycle continues. A salesman can easily confirm that his self-image is correct by his sales figures, for good or bad. Based on the proof, it seldom occurs to a person that his trouble lies in his self-image or his own evaluation of himself. If you tell the schoolboy that it is only his thinking or opinion of himself that is blocking him from higher maths grades, he'll tell you he has tried and still the report card stays the same. Tell the salesman that the only reason he cannot earn above a certain figure is because of his self-image, and he will tell you he has tried every sales trick, and his order book stays at the same level. The self-image can be changed, regardless of age, and thereby start a very different approach to life. However, a new self-image cannot be developed simply by willpower, positive thinking, or by just deciding to. There must be some grounds, some justification, some reason for deciding that the old picture of yourself is in error and that a new picture is appropriate. You cannot merely imagine a new self-image unless you feel that it is based upon truth. Experience has shown that the person who successfully changes his self-image has, through knowledge and understanding, come to realize the truth about himself and the creative power within him. We have incredible abilities, like using our imagination, our ability to reason, to learn and understand, to find solutions to problems, to dream, to use our brains and body to accomplish tasks and many, many more things. We have been engineered for success by our Creator. Our goal-seeking cybernetics system is a truly awesome piece of equipment when directed to the correct targets. Start with imagining who you would like to be. Be careful not to be influenced by thinking about what type of person you want to be so that you will be accepted by your friends and family. Of course, you want to be accepted by your friends and family, however, your picture of you as you want to be is for yourself. This is where you leave ego at the door. Ego is just another falsehood, based on how you want to be perceived by others, but not how you really are deep down. Your image of yourself should be how you believe you can be, the best version of you, the version that knows who you are and are happy in your own skin. Perhaps a well-loved and respected person, a person of influence, a wise person who makes good decisions based on knowledge, understanding, and a well-tuned intuition. A person who loves and is loved, who is a good example to the people around him, who has solid values and principles and is comfortable living by them, who enjoys good quality clothing, home and car, a holiday or two during the year, can enjoy good food and good friends, a charitable person who can afford to give freely of his time and money, a person who can create from an active mind, can enjoy humor, can forgive others and most importantly himself, can celebrate his achievements and the achievements of others, can learn from his failures and move on, has enjoyable memories and knows that who he has become is ultimately more important than what he has done. One of the reasons that seems so difficult for a person to change his habits, his personality, or his ways of life is that all efforts have been directed to the surrounding areas of his life, the effects rather than the cause. What he does or has done, the consequences of past actions and poor decisions, rather than the center, the self-image. Change this, and all else changes. Some people may say that they have read lots of self-help books and employed positive thinking or attempted to employ it upon particular external circumstances on some habit or character defect, like I will get the job, or I'll be calmer in the future, or I can pass this exam, or I'll give up that thing because it's bad for me. But they don't think to change their thinking of the self, which is to accomplish these things. If we don't change the image we have of ourselves, we won't change our thinking, our actions, or the course of our lives. We will just continue around the same old mountain time and time again. We want better results, but we continue to do the same things. If you hold a negative concept of self, then no amount of surface self-help will work over the long term. The studies of the late Prescott Leckey, a pioneer of self-image psychology, showed that the abilities of a person lean heavily on their concept of self. If you hold a negative view of your ability to accomplish a certain task, it's almost impossible to succeed. However, once the concept of self has changed, a task consistent with the new concept can be accomplished more easily and without strain. Leckey found that the self is basically a system of ideas, all of which must seem to be consistent with each other. Ideas which are inconsistent with this system are rejected, not believed, and not acted upon. Leckey was a school teacher and lecturer and tested his theory on thousands of children. He maintained that if a student was having trouble with a particular subject, then it was because, from the student's point of view, it was inconsistent for him to learn it. Leckey believed that if you could change the student's self-conception, which underlies his viewpoint, his attitude towards the subject would change accordingly. If the student could be induced to change his definition, his learning ability should also change. This proved to be the case, and there are many hundreds of documented test results to back it up. One student, who misspelt 55 words out of 100 in a test and similar results over a number of other subjects, was held back a year. He worked with Leckey during that year and scored an average of 91% in the following year's tests. Another student who was told by a testing bureau that he had no aptitude for English won honorable mention the following year for a literary prize. The trouble with these students was not that they were dumb or lacking in basic aptitude. The trouble was an inadequate self-image, like, I don't have a mathematical mind, or I'm just naturally a bad speller. They identified with their mistakes and failures. Instead of saying, I failed that test, which is factual and descriptive, They concluded, I am a failure, which is an emotion and affects the self-image. A person can only go in one direction at a time or believe one thing at a time. Inconsistency or ambivalence results in conflict or paralysis of action. Ideas which are consistent with past experience tend to be assimilated, while those that are inconsistent tend to be rejected. Our conscious mind builds the goal, the picture, through the use of imagination, rational thought, understanding, study, knowledge, wisdom, and analytics. Its job is to accept what is true and reject what is untrue, to form logical and correct conclusions. It analyzes our failures while our subconscious mind works out the plan. It is the job of the conscious mind to decide what it is you want, to pay attention to what you are doing and what is going on around you, so that you can act on the feedback from your subconscious cybernetic system. It is not the job of our conscious mind to figure out how to do it. That's the domain of our subconscious mind. When that information is fed back into our conscious mind through sudden thoughts, chance meetings, or overheard comments that resonate inside us, we need to act immediately on the plan. We then employ our built-in cybernetic system to lock onto that plan, examine any negative feedback, take the correction out of that information, and flush the rest. The task of our willpower is to fend off our initial thoughts of, I can't, or I don't deserve, etc. We act upon our picture as though it were true, because once we set it up, it is true. That's great news, because we can feed the real pictures of our desires into it, and it will act in favor of these desires, and set about finding ways to bring them into our lives. One often difficult but key point to understand is this: your creative goals will be achieved not by power, nor by stress or might, but by following the plan with faith, belief, expectation, and gratitude. Keep and develop the picture of your goal before you. Continue to add detail and emotion to the picture. If you have questions about the route to take, ask your subconscious, especially just before you go to sleep, to supply you with the answer, and then expect it to come. It will come. Sometimes, in fact mostly, when you least expect it. So keep tuned in. Carry a pen and notepad with you. These sudden ideas and flashes of inspiration can come and leave again in a moment. Catching that moment is critical. By tuning into your vision or picture or goal, seeing yourself as the person with the character and ability to achieve it, and adding emotions such as belief or faith or excitement or expectation or gratitude, your self-image will start to accept that image and lock your success-seeking cybernetic system onto it. When that happens, you are on your way. Continually ask yourself, what are the characteristics of a person who would achieve such a goal? How would they speak, act, walk, dress, communicate? Read about people who are or have already been successful. Learn from them. Listen to seminars or older recordings of people who have actually traveled the same road before you. People like Napoleon Hill, Maxwell Maltz, Prescott Leckie, Jordan Peterson, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Caroline Leaf, Dr. Bruce Lipton, John C. Maxwell, and many more. I don't mean motivational self-help teachers, but people who have studied and recorded how our brains work and how to grow beyond our current expectations of ourselves. I am certainly not against self-help teachers. I've enjoyed listening to and reading many hours of that material, and it has an important place. However, if we are not careful, we will try to change the outside without actually changing the inside. All lasting change comes from the inside out, understanding and recalibrating our self-image. That is the only way to change our size.